Welcome to this deep dive. We're zeroing in on the VA home appraisal process today. We've got a comprehensive guide, and our mission is to really extract the essential knowledge.
Yeah, figure out how these appraisals protect veterans, but also, lenders, servicers, the VA itself.
Exactly. Forget wading through endless documents. We want to take you straight to the crucial checkpoints and, well, why they matter.
Think of it as peeling back the layers. It's a pretty well-structured system. And what's fascinating isn't just what the process is, but why it's designed this way. All these specific steps and safeguards.
Okay, so where does this whole appraisal journey actually begin? What's step one?
Well, it kicks off online, mostly. After a veteran has requested their certificate of eligibility, their COE, that's when the appraisal ordering can start.
And who actually orders it? The veteran?
Usually not directly. It's typically authorized requesters, think lenders or their agents. They use a system called WebLGY.
WebLGY. Okay.
Yeah, and interestingly, in most cases, the VA automatically assigns an appraiser right from their approved fee panel. So it's not just anyone.
Right, so there's a vetted list of appraisers, that makes sense. And once one is assigned, what rules do they have to play by? What are they looking for?
Well, the assigned appraiser kind of has two main jobs. First, estimate the fair market value of the property. They have to follow the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice, that's USPPA.
USPP, got it, like the appraiser's code of conduct?
Exactly. It ensures they use consistent methods, stay objective. It's key for reliable valuation. But they also have to follow specific VA appraisal guidelines.
Okay, so USPP plus VA rules.
Right. And crucially, they're also tasked with noting any repairs needed to meet the VA's minimum property requirements, or MPRs.
MPRs, those are the basic safety and livability standards.
Yep. Things like a sound roof, working plumbing, heating the essentials for a home to be eligible for the VA loan.
So they're not just giving a value, they're also acting as a sort of safety check, identifying potential issues.
Precisely. What happens once they've done their inspection and written it all up?
Yeah, what's the next step?
The completed report gets uploaded back into WebLGY. And here's where it gets interesting. It's electronically scored by the VA's appraisal management system, the AMS.
An automated review first.
Kind of, yeah. Then a human element steps back in. A staff appraisal reviewer, a SAR, who works for the lender or servicer, or sometimes VA staff themselves, takes a close look.
And so machine check, then human check.
Right. And their job is to then issue what's called a notice of value, or NOV, directly to the veteran.
The NOV, that's the official value determination.
That's the one. And the oversight doesn't stop there. The VA itself does ongoing quality control. They do desk reviews, even on-site field reviews sometimes.
Wow, okay. That multi-layered review sounds pretty robust. Let's dive into that very first step, ordering the appraisal. Who exactly can do that, and how do they get into this WebLGY system?
Primarily, it's the lenders and servicers, and sometimes their authorized agents. They request appraisals via WebLGY, which they access through the Veterans Information Portal, or VIP.
VIP.
And to get in, they need individual usernames and passwords for VIP. They get those through a specific VA website. And it's really critical. Password sharing is absolutely forbidden. Big privacy and security issue.
Makes total sense. You have to lock that down. Now, when someone is placing that initial order, are there any non-negotiables they have to confirm or provide right off the bat?
Oh, absolutely. One really essential certification the requester has to make is that they will pay the approved appraisal fee to the appraiser.
So they promise payment up front.
Well, they promise it will be paid once they get the notice of value, or if they're told an NOV won't be issued. It's a commitment that the funds are handled.
Gotcha. What else?
Also, for all types of appraisals, if the property's legal description is super long and won't fit in the online form, they have to upload a full copy to WebLGY the same day they request the appraisal.
Okay. But can the appraiser start if they don't have every single detail immediately?
Yeah, there's some flexibility. To prevent unnecessary delays, the appraiser can usually proceed if they have enough info to clearly pinpoint the property.
Okay, so payment commitment and clear property ID. What about when a veteran is actually buying a home? Are there extra documents needed then?
Definitely. If it's a purchase, a fully executed copy of the sales contract must be uploaded to WebLGY. And this is important. On the very same day, the appraisal is requested.
Same day. Wow, no wiggle room there.
Not really. If it isn't done, the whole appraisal process can just be put on hold.
Oof. Okay, what about houses that aren't built yet, proposed or under construction?
Similar urgency. For those, any relevant construction exhibits, think plans, specs also need uploading that same day. If the files are too massive to upload, they have to be physically sent to the appraiser via overnight delivery.
It sounds like timing is absolutely critical with getting those documents in. What if someone runs into trouble, like they have a question about who the appraiser is, or they hit a technical snag with WebLGY?
Good question. For specific questions about the assigned appraiser for a particular case, the best bet is the Regional Loan Center, the RLC, that covers the property's area. Their contact info is on the VA website.
RLC for appraiser questions. And for tech problems.
For technical issues with VIP or WebLGY itself, there's a dedicated VIP help desk they can reach via email.
Okay. Let's circle back to that sales contract. You said it has to be uploaded immediately for a purchase. Why is it so critical? It sounds like more than just paperwork.
Oh, it's absolutely fundamental. If a vet is buying, that contract has to be uploaded without delay, same day. If not, like I said, it triggers a hold. The appraiser actually has to notify the requester about the missing contract and even document the delay in WebLGY.
So that one missing document can just stop everything cold.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It really highlights how important that contract is for setting the whole context for the appraisal.
Wow. Okay. So once the appraiser has that contract, what do they actually do with it?
They have to conduct a really thorough analysis. They look at all the terms of the available sales contract, any options that were part of the deal, even any listings of the property they can find.
Listings too.
Yeah, whatever they can access in their normal course of work. And they consider all of this as of the appraisal's effective date. This analysis is crucial for them to form a well-supported opinion of the property's reasonable market value.
So it's not just the price, but all the details.
Right. And they also need to carefully consider if anything in the contract financing details, seller concessions, might impact those minimum property requirements, the MPRs we talked about.
So they're looking at the financial nuts and bolts and potential repair needs flagged by the contract terms. Sounds like they really can't do a complete job without it.
Precisely. They need that contract to fully grasp the financial landscape. Sales concessions, other important info. It all feeds into their assessment of the property's reasonable value.
Okay, but what happens if things change? Like the terms of the sales contract get amended after the appraisal process has already started?
Good point. If the contract is amended before the appraisal is actually completed, before the effective date on the report, the lender is responsible for getting that updated contract to the appraiser. Pronto.
Why is that so important?
Because the appraiser needs to work with the most current terms. They have to evaluate if those changes might affect the property's value. Even seemingly minor changes in financing or concessions could skew the valuation. Not providing it can delay closing, or even worse, lead to the VA questioning the loan later on.
Right. And what if the changes happen after the appraisal is done, but before the loan actually closes?
That's a slightly different scenario.
Oh.
In that case, the lender has to use what they call due diligence.
Due diligence, meaning?
Meaning they need to carefully consider if those amendments could reasonably be expected to affect the appraiser's original value estimate. If they think there is a potential impact, they have to forward the amended contract to the VA fee appraiser for review.
So the lender makes the first call?
Yes. The appraiser then analyzes the impact, keeping professional standards in mind. And depending on how significant the changes are, the appraiser might even consider it a new assignment.
Which could mean another fee for the veteran.
Potentially, yes. So the lender really needs to ask themselves, could this change reasonably affect the price? If yes, involve the appraiser again. It protects the vet from overpaying and the VA from backing a loan on an overvalued property.
So vital to keep the appraiser in the loop, even post-report. What are the consequences if a lender drops the ball on these contract amendments, doesn't do their homework?
Well, if the lender fails to properly review amendments or doesn't forward them when needed, it could trigger a review of the whole loan for indemnification, or any claim made against the VA's loan guarantee might get adjusted. Basically, financial consequences for the lender.
Okay, serious stuff. Let's shift to something else that sounds like it could cause headaches. Duplicate appraisal requests. What's the rule there?
Oh yeah, that's a no-no. The rule is very straightforward.
All right.
Once an appraisal has been officially requested, no duplicate requests are allowed for the same veteran on the same property, period.
And if a lender messes up and sends one anyway?
If a lender mistakenly submits more than one, they have to immediately cancel the extras. There's a specific procedure for that in WebLGY.
Okay, but what if they don't catch the duplicates? What if they fail to cancel them? Any penalties?
Yes, definitely financial implications.
Yeah.
If a lender neglects to cancel duplicates and, say, 2 appraisals get completed for the same vet on the same property, The lender is on the hook financially for the fees for both appraisals.
Ouch. They pay for the mistake.
Exactly. And importantly, the notice of value, the NOV, will only be issued based on the first appraisal requested.
So they can't just pick the highest value.
Nope. First one counts, and the lender pays for any extras they cause by not canceling.
Got it. And after the notice of value is already out, can they request another appraisal then during its valid period?
No, absolutely not. Once that NOV is issued, no duplicate appraisals can be requested for that vet on that property while the NOV is still valid.
Seems pretty clear-cut. Now, what if circumstances change and they genuinely need to cancel an appraisal request before it gets duplicated? Maybe the loan falls through. How do they do that properly?
Right, it happens. The process depends on timing. If it's before the appraisal is actually completed, maybe the borrower doesn't qualify anymore, the very first step is to immediately notify the assigned appraiser.
Okay, tell the appraiser first.
Yes, and it's important to note the appraiser might still charge a fee for work they've already done. That fee is usually the veteran's responsibility.
Ah, okay, so notify the appraiser, fee might apply, then what?
Then the lender needs to send a formal cancellation request by email to the relevant RLC. That email needs a VA case number, the property address, the reason for canceling, and confirmation that any applicable appraisal fee will be paid.
What if the appraisal is completed but the NOV hasn't been issued yet? Say the deal falls apart right at the end.
Steps are pretty similar. Lender still needs to tell the appraiser immediately and email that cancellation request to the RLC with all the same info: case number, address, reason, fee confirmation.
And the key difference?
The key difference is that the lender isn't obligated to issue the NOV in that case. And once the cancellation is processed, the case just gets removed from the lender's active list in WebLGY.
Okay. And what if the NOV has already been issued? Can they cancel then?
No. Once the notice of value is officially issued, the appraisal request cannot be canceled. It's considered a done deal at that point.
All right. Let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the appraisers themselves. What kind of customer service does the VA expect from these fee panel folks?
The VA holds them to a pretty high standard. These appraisers are expected to be qualified, experienced professionals. They're not VA employees, but they're definitely seen as representing the VA home loan program when they interact with people.
So professionalism is key.
Absolutely. The main expectation is that they serve veterans and lenders professionally at all times. It reflects the VA's commitment to good service for veterans.
What about conflicts of interest? Or if an appraiser just can't take on a job for some valid reason?
If an appraiser identifies a conflict or any other legitimate reason they can't do an assignment, they have to notify the RLC immediately, right away.
So the RLC can reassign it quickly.
Exactly. Avoids unnecessary delays in the process.
Communication's always crucial. How quickly are appraisers expected to respond if someone asks for a status update? Like the lender.
They should expect status inquiries from lender and servicer folks, though usually not the SARs directly. The expectation is a prompt response, latest by the close of the next business day, and they should give an estimated completion date.
Good communication keeps things moving.
Definitely helps keep everyone informed and the process flowing.
Are there specific rules for how they communicate? Like email etiquette?
Yeah, there are. When using email, they always need to include the VA loan identification number, the LIN, in the subject line.
LIN in the subject. Got it.
But for privacy, no other personal info like the borrower's name or property address in the subject. And the email body should clearly state the reason for the email.
Makes sense. What about if an appraiser is doing a purchase appraisal and thinks the value might be coming in lower than the sales price? What do they do then?
Yeah. In that specific case, if their initial estimate looks like it's below the sales price, they have a specific duty to notify the requester, usually the lender. They let them know about the possibility of submitting additional market data for consideration.
And that triggers that special procedure.
Exactly. That kicks off the Tidewater procedure, which we should definitely talk more about.
Okay, we'll circle back to Tidewater. What if the report itself needs clarification or correction after it's submitted?
It happens. The appraisal reviewer could be a lender SAR or VA staff, might contact the appraiser to discuss something or ask for clarification.
And the appraiser needs to respond quickly.
Yep, by the close of the next business day. If a correction or more explanation is needed in the report, the appraiser then has to upload a complete revised report back into WebLGY.
Sounds like there are multiple checks and balances. What if an appraiser just isn't meeting these standards consistently? Customer service, accuracy, timeliness?
Well, every appraiser's work is subject to ongoing quality review. every single report gets looked at by a SAR or VA staff. If an appraiser consistently fails to meet VA expectations, the VA can take administrative action.
Which could mean?
Ultimately, it could include being removed from the VA's fee appraiser panel.
Okay, accountability. Now, timeliness is always huge in real estate. What are the VA's goals for how fast these appraisals get done?
The VA actually sets its timeliness standards by looking at how long comparable conventional appraisals take in that specific local market.
So they benchmark against the rest of the market.
Exactly. They actively monitor VA appraisal turnaround times to make sure they're at least as fast as, and ideally faster than, conventional ones in the same area.
What can lenders do to help make sure things move quickly?
Lenders play a really vital role here. When they order the appraisal, it's crucial they provide clear, accurate contact info for the person who can let the appraiser into the property.
Smooth scheduling is key.
Right. Minimize delays in just getting the inspection scheduled.
Are these timeliness standards, like, public? Can people see them?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
The VA develops them based on ongoing reviews of conventional appraisal times across the country. The specific standards for different areas are usually posted online.
Okay. So once an appraiser gets an assignment, how fast do they need to reach out and schedule that inspection?
They're expected to make initial contact to schedule the viewing appointment within 2 business days of getting the assignment. And they have to document that contact attempt in WebLGY.
2 business days to make contact. What if there are unavoidable delays? Say the appraiser tries but just can't get access to the property.
If there are delays beyond the appraiser's control, they have to make detailed notes about it in WebLGY, informing the lender. If there are valid documented reasons, a temporary exception to the timeliness rules might be considered.
So documentation is key.
Absolutely. And it's good practice for lenders to check WebLGY for updates before calling the appraiser too.
If there has been a documented delay getting in, what's the deadline for the report once they finally do get access?
Even with a delay, they still need to be prompt. If a documented delay pushes things out, the report still has to be uploaded to WebLGY no later than 3 business days after the property viewing finally happens.
3 business days post-inspection. Got it. It sounds like the VA really tries to keep things competitive. What do they do if they see consistent delays popping up in certain areas?
Good question. If the VA notices VA appraisals are consistently taking longer than conventional ones in a specific area, the regional loan centers will proactively try to add more qualified appraisers to their fee panel in that region.
Increase capacity to fix the bottleneck.
Exactly. Helps alleviate delays.
Okay, you mentioned the Tidewater procedure earlier. It has such a specific name. Can you break that down for us? What exactly is it?
Certainly. The Tidewater procedure is a specific protocol, only for purchase appraisals. If, before finalizing the report, the appraiser's initial value estimate looks like it's coming in lower than the agreed-upon sales price, they have to formally notify the requester, usually the lender. This notification starts a clock. 2 business days.
2 days for what?
2 business days for the requester, or anyone they contact like the real estate agents, to submit any additional comparable sales data they think the appraiser might have missed or should consider.
So a chance to provide more evidence if the value seems low. Why Tidewater?
It's called that because the VA first piloted this procedure in the Tidewater region of Virginia. The name just stuck.
Okay. So what kind of info makes for good comparable sales data to submit during Tidewater?
You need specifics. For each potential comp sale submitted, you should provide the full street address, the actual sales price, the exact date it sold, the gross living area, and, if it was listed, a copy of the listing with all the details about features and condition.
Basically everything the appraiser would need to analyze it.
Right. Plus any other info that helps determine if it's truly comparable. And it's really the requester's responsibility to provide enough relevant data for the appraiser to work with.
Okay. Once this extra data is submitted, what does the appraiser do with it?
If data comes in via Tidewater, the appraiser has to acknowledge in the final report that the procedure was followed. They must list the address of every single sale submitted.
Every single one?
Every one. And for each, they need to state clearly whether it was or was not considered in their analysis. If not considered, they have to explain exactly why. Maybe it wasn't truly comparable, too far away, different condition, whatever.
Okay, transparency.
Yes.
Yeah.
And finally, they need to state what effect, if any, the submitted data had on their final opinion of value.
What if that 2-day window passes and nobody sends anything?
If no data comes in within the 2 business days, the appraiser still notes in the report that Tidewater was initiated, but no data was submitted. Then they just proceed to finalize the report based on the data and analysis they already had.
It seems important to stress the intent here, right? It's not about forcing a value.
Exactly. That's crucial. This whole process is only meant as a way to share potentially relevant market data that might have been overlooked. It is absolutely not intended as, and shouldn't be seen as, any kind of pressure on the appraiser to hit a specific number.
The appraiser's independence remains key.
Paramount. Their professional judgment and following appraisal standards always come first.
Okay. Now let's shift focus to the properties themselves. What kinds of properties are generally eligible for a VA home appraisal?
Well, most residential properties can work, but it's really the lender's job first to check if a specific property meets the basic VA eligibility criteria. If they don't do that initial check, it could affect a future claim.
So, lender pre-screens for eligibility. What usually qualifies?
Generally, existing construction homes completed over a year ago, or less than a year if someone's lived there already. Also, new construction fits. That's homes never occupied, under a year old, or basically done except for minor things the buyer picks, like paint colors.
Okay, existing and new. What about houses that aren't even built yet?
Proposed construction works too. That includes properties appraised from plans and specs, or based on a finished model home of the same plan. Even manufactured homes that will be put on a permanent foundation.
Manufactured homes too, interesting.
Yep. Also, properties that lenders ended up owning, like foreclosures, REO properties can be eligible, but they must meet the minimum property requirements, the MPRs, and they get processed as individual appraisals, not under the fast-track lender program.
What about a vet building their own house?
That's eligible too. If a veteran acts as their own general contractor for their own home, it's appraised, but interestingly, as existing construction.
Okay, that's quite a range. Any other notable types that are usually eligible?
Yeah, a few more. Sometimes, very rarely, a special exception allows a vet to buy a new home without the usual builder warranty. Manufactured and modular homes are okay if they're legally classified as real estate in that state.
Condos.
Condos are generally fine if the whole development is VA accepted. Leaseholds, where you lease the land long-term instead of owning it, can work, but need specific VA approval before the NOV and involve extra legal review.
PUDs. Planned unit developments.
PUDs are eligible if the title meets VA requirements. Properties needing repairs can be appraised subject to completion if the appraiser has the plans for the finished work.
What about flood zones?
Properties in special flood hazard areas are eligible if flood insurance is obtainable. And finally, properties that already have a VA loan on them can be appraised again for things like refinancing, liquidation, or releasing part of the property as security.
Okay, that's a pretty comprehensive list of what is eligible. Now, for the flip side, what kinds of properties are specifically not eligible for a VA appraisal?
Right, the exclusions. Again, lenders should spot these early. If an appraiser finds it's ineligible after starting, they have to stop work and tell the lender.
So what makes a property ineligible? Location seems like one factor.
Location's definitely a big one. Proposed construction in airport clear zones. Nope. Properties in high-risk lava flow zones 1 and 2. Ineligible. Areas within the coastal barrier resources system. Also out.
Flood zones again?
Yes. If flood insurance isn't available in a special flood hazard area, it's ineligible. Or just areas known for regular flooding, even without a FEMA zone. Also, properties with homes built inside easements for high-pressure gas petroleum pipelines or high-voltage power lines.
Wow, specific. Any others based on location?
For newer proposed construction, areas prone to geological instability or soil problems are usually out, unless the builder proves the site is stable, maybe with an engineer's report.
Okay, location is huge. Are there also restrictions based on the type of property?
Yes. Several property types are restricted.
Yeah.
Things that don't comply with current zoning are usually ineligible unless it's a legal, grandfathered, non-conforming use.
What else?
Properties that are mainly non-residential. For new proposed construction, if required local building inspections weren't done, the property's ineligible. Certain condo types, too, like condo hotels or air condos without an HOA and land ownership.
And a big one related to who's involved.
Right. Any property where someone with a financial stake, other than the vet buyer, is debarred or suspended by the government or specifically sanctioned by the VA, that property is ineligible. And this builder restriction holds even if local authorities approve the work or the builder tries to use a different company name.
That builder restriction ties back to the builder ID you mentioned earlier, right? Why is that ID needed?
Absolutely. For almost all new and proposed construction, except things like lender-owned new builds or a vet building their own home, the builder must have a valid VA-issued builder ID before the VA issues the NOV.
So it's mandatory.
Pretty much. The VA has a formal registration process, assigns these unique IDs state by state. A builder needs a separate ID for each state they build VA-financed homes in. Plus, they have to meet state and local licensing rules.
Is there a way to check if a builder has one?
Yep. The VA keeps an online public list where you can look up registered builders and their IDs.
And how does a builder get one?
They apply to the RLC. It involves submitting paperwork like their license copy, signed equal employment opportunity and affirmative marketing certs, and a completed builder info and certifications form.
Okay, so the idea is about tracking and vetting builders for VA jobs. Let's dig deeper into new construction appraisals. How does it work when it's based just on plans and specs? No actual house to see yet.
Right. For proposed construction from plans, the lender has a big job up front. They have to upload a whole set of detailed construction exhibits into WebLGY the same day the VA case number is assigned.
What kind of exhibits?
Things like a detailed survey or plot plan, complete building plans sufficient for valuation, foundation basement plans, exterior elevation drawings showing all sides, a typical wall section diagram, and complete written specifications listing all materials and finishes.
That sounds incredibly detailed.
It has to be. The specs can be on a VA form, a HUD form, or similar detailed format. Then in the appraisal report, the appraiser has to specifically certify they use these exhibits for their value opinion. And the appraisal is made subject to completion according to those exact plans and specs.
Makes sense. What if the appraisal is based on a completed model home instead of just blueprints? How is that different?
When using a model home, the lender has to clearly flag it in WebLGY when ordering. They put the subject property's legal description, then literally type appraisal from model home.
Okay, clear flag. What about the model itself?
The model has to meet criteria. Fully finished, same exact floor plan as the subject property, though a mirror image is okay, located in the same market area, and easily accessible for the appraiser's inspection.
And the lender provides access info.
Yes, contact info for access, plus a detailed written list of all differences upgrades, features between the model and the actual house being built.
And the appraiser's report.
The appraiser includes a specific statement saying the appraisal was based on inspecting the model, and the value is contingent on the subject property being finished, according to the sales contract. The NOV issued will usually require a final inspection of the actual house once it's built.
Okay, whether plans or model, verifying the final construction is key. What about local building code inspections? How does the VA view those?
The VA knows many local authorities have building codes and do mandatory inspections, foundation, framing, final. For VA loans on new or proposed construction, lenders must confirm if these local inspections are happening.
Why is that confirmation needed?
Because the purpose of those local inspections is to ensure compliance with local codes and satisfactory completion, often proven by a certificate of occupancy. If the local authority does normally inspect, but for some reason didn't on the specific VA property, that property is generally ineligible for the VA loan.
Wow, so those local inspections are really important for VA eligibility too. What about warranties on new homes? What does VA require?
For any new home bought with a VA loan, the veteran must get either a 1-year warranty using a specific VA form or a 10-year insured warranty instead.
1-year VA or 10-year insured. Got it.
How do they prove the house was finished properly?
It depends on whether those local inspections happen. If the local authority does inspect, then getting a certificate of occupancy is usually enough proof. If they inspect but don't issue a C of O, then copies of satisfactory inspection reports or a written statement from them works.
And if the local authority does no inspections at all?
Then the lender has to formally certify that the property is fully complete, including all site improvements, and that it meets all the VA's minimum property requirements for existing construction.
Okay. Are the warranty rules basically the same for proposed construction stuff not built yet when appraised? A construction warranty is absolutely required for proposed. But again, the specifics depend on local inspections. If local authorities do inspect foundation, framing, final pale, the builder still gives the 1-year VA form warranty. In that case, VA help with complaints is limited to that first year.
And if no local inspections?
If no local inspections, then the builder has to provide both a 1-year VA warranty and a 10-year insured warranty. Plus, the lender still have to certify completion and NPR compliance. Again, VA help is limited to that 1-year warranty period.
So those local inspections simplify the warranty requirements a bit. After a proposed project is finished, is there a final VA inspection?
Yes. For proposed construction, besides any local inspections, the lender must get the original VA appraiser back out after completion.
What's the appraiser checking then?
They verify the finished construction substantially matches the original certified exhibits the appraisal was based on, and that site improvements meet sales contract conditions, landscaping, decks, fences, etc.
And they file a report?
Yep. They submit a formal report, could be a Fannie Mae form, or just their letterhead. It needs their certification, front and rear photos, and their invoice. If anything's incomplete or different from the plans, they have to detail it thoroughly. That report gets uploaded to WebLGY.
What if the original appraiser isn't available for that final check?
Then the lender contacts the RLC to get another qualified appraiser assigned for it.
Okay. We touched on vets building their own homes. How do appraisals and warranties work differently there?
Right. If a vet acts as their own general contractor for their own home, the appraisal is ordered as existing construction, even though it's new.
Appraised as existing. Interesting. Warranties. Builder ID.
In that specific case, the builder ID and warranty requirements are waived. However, the lender must get a signed statement from the veteran acknowledging there is no warranty and the VA won't help with construction defects.
Got it. What about that unusual case of vet wants to buy a new home, but the builder rarely does VA loans and won't give the warranty? Is there any flexibility?
Yes, there's a specific special exception process for that. A waiver might be granted, but it requires several things.
Like what?
Like a written statement from the vet acknowledging no VA complaint help and no standard warranty, a certification from the builder saying they rarely do VA financing, know about the exception, and built to code. Plus, proof of acceptable completion from the local authority, like a C of O or inspection reports.
And if no local inspections?
Then written certs from both the vet and builder saying no local inspections were done. And importantly, even with this exception, the builder still needs a valid VA builder ID.
Still need the ID. Okay. And what if a lender ends up owning new construction? Maybe the builder defaulted. How are those appraised?
If a lender takes title to a new build, they have to order the appraisal as existing construction, not new. And it has to be processed as an IND or individual case, not LAP.
Why IND?
Because lender-owned properties can't use the lender appraisal processing program. The lender also has to provide proof of ownership, finish any NPR repairs, get a C of O, and get a signed statement from the vet buyer acknowledging they're buying existing from the lender with no warranty and no VA defect help.
Okay, wow. We've covered a massive amount on ordering and new construction details. Let's move to the final stages. What happens right after the appraiser finishes their report?
Once done, the VA fee appraiser uploads the complete report into WebLGY. Then VA staff, the lender, authorized agents, servicers, anyone with the right VA ID linked to that loan can access it there.
For review, issuing the NOV, etc.
Exactly. For whatever they need in the workflow. The VA has specific format requirements too.
Wow.
It needs to be in MISMO XML.
What if WebLGY is down when they finish?
If the system is temporarily unavailable, they can email the report directly to the lender, but they still have to upload it to WebLGY as soon as it's back up and make a note in the system that it was emailed earlier due to the outage.
Okay. What if the veteran gets the NOV and just disagrees with the value? Can they challenge it?
Yes, they can. After the NOV is issued, the veteran has the right to request a formal reconsideration of the value. It has to be in writing, sent to the RLC for that area.
Should they provide evidence?
It's encouraged. If they have supporting market data, like recent comparable sales, similar to the Tidewater data, they should include it.
Right.
If the request goes through the lender's SAR is encouraged to review the data too and provide a recommendation.
How long does the review take?
VA staff review the original appraisal, any new data, and their own system data, usually within 5 business days. Sometimes they might even do a field review, which could take up to 20 business days.
And if they agree the value should be higher?
If the review warrants an increase, the VA will issue an amended NOV with the revised value.
Makes sense. Often the initial appraisal lists required repairs. How do those get inspected and signed off?
Right, repair inspections are needed when the NOV requires them. Could be for existing property repairs, finishing customer choices on new construction, or that post-construction check for proposed builds.
Does the appraiser always have to re-inspect?
Not always. SARs are actually encouraged to condition the NOV for the lender to certify repairs are done, especially if licensed pros did the work. The main exception is lead-based paint repairs. Those always need certification by a VA fee appraiser.
Okay, so when repairs are done, what happens?
The lender notifies the appraiser and gives them a copy of the NOV, since the required repairs might differ slightly from the original appraisal notes.
And if the original appraiser isn't available?
The lender contacts the RLC to get another appraiser assigned for the repair inspection.
What does the repair inspection report include?
It's usually on a Fannie Mae form or letterhead. It lists the NOV repair items, certifies quality materials and workmanship, identifies anything not yet compliant, includes photos of completed work, is signed and dated by the appraiser, and gets uploaded to WebLGY.
Let's talk money. Appraisal fees, repair inspection fees. Who pays and how much are we talking?
The fees are based on what's customary and reasonable for similar services in that local market. Importantly, VA appraisers cannot charge veterans more than they charge other clients for the same work.
Are fees fixed?
There might be additional fees for unusually complex situations. The current fee schedules are usually online on the VA's website. Appraisers might also charge for mileage based on the RLC schedule, often tied to the GSA rate.
Who actually pays the appraiser?
When the lender orders the appraisal in WebLGY, they have to certify they've collected the fee and are holding it for payment. The appraiser cannot collect directly from the veteran. The requester pays them.
No rush fees allowed.
Strictly prohibited. For liquidation appraisals, the servicer might get reimbursed later. And for really complex properties, extra fees can sometimes be negotiated with lender and VA approval beforehand.
What if the requester is slow to pay the appraiser?
Well, the requester certifies payment will happen. VA expects payment within about 30-45 days after the NOV is issued or denied. If an appraiser has ongoing issues getting paid by someone, they can tell the RLC.
And the RLC might step in?
They might contact the requester. If a requester is consistently delinquent, the RLC could require them to pay appraisers upfront in the future. But appraisers generally can't demand advance payment or charge late fees without written VA.
Okay. What if a veteran starts with one lender, gets an appraisal done, then decides to switch lenders mid-process?
That happens. Lenders are generally expected to cooperate. If the vet gives a written request, email often works, to the original lender, that lender should transfer the VA appraisal case to the new chosen lender.
How does the transfer happen?
If the original lender is in the LAPP program, their SAR can usually transfer the report and case number electronically in WebLGY to another LAPP lender. The new lender needs to give the vet their contact info and VA lender ID for the request.
Does the original NOV transfer to?
No, this is key. An NOV issued by the first lender's SAR is not transferable. The new lender's SAR must independently review the appraisal report and issue a brand new NOV.
And if the new lender isn't in LAPP?
Then the transfer request goes to the RLC, and the RLC issues the new NOV.
Okay. Switching gears to unfortunate events. Natural disasters. What happens if one hits during the appraisal or loan process?
Lenders need to watch the FEMA website for disaster declarations impacting their areas. If a disaster hits before the appraiser visits, the appraisal just proceeds. But the appraiser needs to be extra careful about condition and MPRs. No extra paperwork needed usually.
But what if the appraisal was already done before the disaster, but the loan hasn't closed?
Then certifications are required. Both the lender and the veteran have to sign statements. The lender certifies they've inspected post-disaster, and the property is either undamaged or fully restored. The veteran certifies they've also inspected, find the condition acceptable, and still want to close, acknowledging they won't be charged for disaster repairs.
What if there's concern the value dropped, even after repairs?
Then the lender must get the original VA appraiser to do a new, updated appraisal. Who pays for that new appraisal fee is usually something the buyer and seller negotiate.
Makes sense. Last point. Title issues. What if some weird limitation or condition on the property title pops up?
If the lender finds a title issue before closing that might affect the property's suitability as security for the VA loan, they need to contact the appraiser to discuss if it still meets VA requirements.
What if the title issue is found after the appraisal's effective date?
The appraiser might need to consider if it's a new assignment, which could potentially mean another fee for the veteran.
And if the VA finds out about a title issue that wasn't considered?
The RLC will usually contact the appraiser for more info, assess the impact on value and eligibility, noted in WebLGY, and issue an amended NOV if needed to account for the title condition.
Wow. Well, that was an incredibly thorough deep dive into the complexities of the VA home appraisal process. Seriously comprehensive.
It really covers a lot of ground, doesn't it?
From that initial online request, the critical role of the sales contract, all the specifics for new construction, handling reconsiderations, even natural disasters and title issues. You've given us a really clear, detailed picture of this vital step.
And what's truly fascinating, I think, is the level of detail involved. You can see how each piece, vetting appraisers, multiple reviews, specific procedures like Tidewater, is designed to protect everyone involved, especially the veteran.
Right, ensuring fair valuation and adherence to standards. It's a robust system.
Absolutely. It's built on specific procedures and a real commitment to reliable valuation and making sure the property meets those essential safety and soundness standards.
And it really highlights just how much thought goes into making sure a property meets VA standards. You know, thinking about this intricate process makes you wonder what other parts of the home buying journey or even homeownership for veterans might have similar detailed systems designed for their protection.
That's a great point. It definitely could be a really valuable area for you, the listener, to explore further on your own.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.